What you doing, Nancy? Cleaning up in here already?
Well, yes, that's right.
Ain't it a little early for that? Ain't Anna coming tomorrow?
Here is a bulletin from CBS News. In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting. More details just arrived. President Kennedy shot today just as his motorcade left downtown Dallas. Mrs. Kennedy jumped up and grabbed Mr. Kennedy. She called, "Oh no," the motorcade sped on. United Press says that the wounds for President Kennedy perhaps could be fatal. Repeating, President Kennedy has been shot by a would-be assassin in Dallas, Texas. Stay tuned to CBS News for further details.
It takes more than an instant to make a real cup of coffee. That's why Nescafe has come up with
Further details on an assassination attempt against President Kennedy in Dallas, Texas. President Kennedy was shot as he drove from Dallas Airport to downtown Dallas. Governor Connolly of Texas in the car with him was also shot. It is reported that 3 bullets rang out. The president, cradled in the arms of his wife, Mrs. Kennedy, was carried to an ambulance and the car rushed to Parkland Hospital outside Dallas. The president was taken to an emergency room in the hospital. We will keep you advised as more details come in. Stay tuned to CBS News for further details.
Okay, as if you can't guess, where we are at is Dallas, Texas. The view you are seeing now is Dealey Plaza, and the opening shot there was the Texas School Book Depository. And, well, this has been quite a last couple of days. We were here on the 22nd, the anniversary. The actual assassination took place on November 22nd, 1963. On the 29th anniversary, a couple of days ago, there were about 300 people over on the grassy knoll area commemorating the anniversary at 12:30 when the actual assassination took place. People were reflecting, talking, discussing their own theories and ideas, and more or less just coming to feel a sense of togetherness with the other people who were curious about this crime of the century event. And we're going to show you a lot of different things. There's all sorts of different interesting spots. The picket fence, the actual school book depository closer up, and different shots that you may have seen in hundreds of books, hundreds of times, in the movie JFK just out a year ago. And it's really amazing being here. So let's go on with the tour, and you'll see some other neat things.
And I guess just about everybody down here feels the same, that there was some sort of conspiracy, but a lot of the people in Dallas were trying to would like to put it behind us. As you can see, there's a lot of curiosity seekers down here, and every year the people in Dallas have to be reminded of what happened down here. And Dallas at that time was a city full of hate, but it's no longer that way. Dallas has come a great, it's come
Do you think
leaps and bounds since the atmosphere that prevailed at the time. There's still problems, but it's just a shame that the only time that people think of Dallas, they think about what happened here, not some of the other great things that have happened in this city.
It's November 22nd, 1992, the 29th anniversary of John F. Kennedy's assassination. We're here on Elm Street in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas, and it's about 11:30, about an hour before the actual anniversary occurs, and a lot of people are gathering. You can tell it's a little bit chilly, probably chillier than it was 29 years ago today, but it's going to be a pretty good turnout. It's a real odd atmosphere. Everyone's just kind of waiting around for 12:30 to occur.
Simple. So I got some complimentary copies here if you like them. Some of these people are well-known authors. They've tapped into some real interesting information. We've got photographs of people under arrest that you would not believe if I showed you these photographs. A lot of people have the photographs. We live in the information age. News travels fast. It's not like it used to be. You see, so there's going to be a lot of progress made on this whole thing within the next few months and the next year.
As you can tell, we even have hot dog vendors here today that you'll see so often in old news footage the very day of when they're showing where the shots had come from. As you can see, the Hertz Rent-A-Car sign is no longer on top of the book depository building. As a matter of fact, it is no longer technically called the book depository building because it is going by another name, which eludes me at this moment. But a lot of things were put back into their place for the filming of JFK last year.
Like I said, it is possible. See, 83% of the witnesses in Dealey Plaza said that they saw rifle fire come from the fence. They ran in this direction. But likewise, people heard shots from the wall. But it's all but conclusive that there was a triangulation of gunfire in here. It's a military-style ambush. There was no escape. You know, why else would the limousine take this strange turn down Elm Street when it was supposed to go down the center of Maine? Mm-hmm. And the official record says, no, that's not true. It was always planned to go down Elm Street. But that's not true. It was published that it was to go down Main Street. Earl Cavill was responsible. What happened to the driver of the limo? Well, he's dead now. Of course. Will Greer, but he made no statement as to why he made that turn other than that was the motorcade route. But Earl Cavill changed it within 24 hours of the trip to Dallas.
Well, Jesse Curry was in the lead car, and they were just following the lead car was turned down here first.
Exactly.
So there was,
that's all they were doing. The Warren Commission says that it was not true because if the car had gone down Main Street, they would have had to have popped the curb. A ramp was put down to allow the car to do it. They laid down dirt for the car to go over. They wanted to go down the center of Main Street for best visibility, and also not to put themselves any closer to buildings or hedges or anything. This was a complete breach of military security and Secret Service security for the protection of the president.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to make a turn more than a 90-degree turn.
Anything that requires the car to be slowed down less than 15 miles per hour is in violation of the security code. Yet they did.
And Earl Cable's brother was Charles Cable, the general that Kennedy fired on.
He and Alan Dulles both. He was investigating the death of the man who was fired.
Yeah, I always wondered.
Was there an exit Yes. Because it's hard to make out at first. This is the photograph showing the back of the head right here. Shows no exit wound. I've shown this to every Dallas doctor, along with I'm not the first person to do this. Looked at this and they said, I don't know who that is, but that is not the man we saw. We saw the back of his head and it was gone. This photograph depicts the back of the head. It's close up. It's hard to make detail of.
Where was this photograph? Well, those are apparently doctored.
These are Bethesda. These are done at the autopsy at Bethesda. The wound is covered up either by photographic doctoring or reconstruction of the scalp. Nobody knows for sure. There's several versions on this, but all I know is it doesn't take any examination of it to take this to the Dallas doctors, and every single one of them saying, And I said, okay, well, is the scalp covered? Have they pulled it back into place? They said there was nothing to cover it up. It was gone. Okay. This photograph here is let me show you this one. It's a little bit better. Is a close-up of the back of the head. If I could put this behind my head, this is the back of the skull. The scalp has been peeled backwards. This whole ragged area is gone. This area back here.
Where was that photograph taken?
These are at Bethesda. These are all at Bethesda, Maryland.
Well, then wouldn't that photograph seem to conflict with the previous photograph?
Exactly. These photographs were not to be released.
Okay.
These are bootleg copies, actually.
Yes.
I'm not saying you did it, but
yes.
David Lifton got a hold of them.
David Lifton got a hold of them. Paul O'Connor, I got these from a man who was there at the autopsy. Paul O'Connor. He's the man who said the body arrived in a shipping casket and zipped in a body bag. He was there during these photographs. You know, we're talking to a man who was there. This man's not out for any fame or any glory. This guy was there, and he said, "This is not correct." I'm not trying to gross anybody out with these. They're in my book, and just
so
somebody
in other
has
words,
not shown.
Apparently, the same hospital had two versions of the same autopsy or the same skull.
The Dallas doctor said that there was an exit wound in the back of the head. Back here, it was gone.
Okay.
The fragment was found by Billy Harper 35 feet to the rear where Kennedy was at the time he was shot. Now, how can that happen if a shot came from the rear?
Now, let me ask you this. Can one discern the exit wound by viewing the Zapruder film?
Zapruder film.
Zapruder film. Can you actually see the exit wound by studying or analyzing the still frames of the...
I don't think I have the still in here, or at least not in color, which it needs to be. As the head falls back towards Jackie, I do not have it.
Is that a 30 frame per second film?
18 frames per second.
Frame per second.
When the head falls back towards Jackie, you can see the whole area in the back of the head lifted out. It's like it's blasted out. And there is also a defect from the top of the skull down. He had a massive wound from front to back, but the photographs only show an exit wound up here.
Right.
You know, but the Zapruder film shows the wound from front to back. I mean, this whole area is blown up. When this falls open, this area is blown out. That's what Jackie goes after on the trunk. Clint Hill saw the effects. Billy Hargis, a police officer, said he was hit with such impact, and he's to the left and rear of the president, that he thought he was shot himself.
The reason I bring that up is my concern is possibly that the Zapruder film may have been doctored as well, and that it's not evident when you look at the film that there was an apparent exit wound at the rear of Kennedy's head.
Yeah, you
but
can't see it. It is visible in the film even
study
today.
It closely.
The Warren Commission published the sequence of the headshot, the frame of impact and the frame thereafter backwards. And what it does is shows that the head go forward instead of backwards, but that's incorrect. Why did they do this? These are competent men investigating a case, and they're correct with everything else up until these two frames, and it shows the head go forward. Dan Rather saw the Zapruder film the night of November 22nd, not being able to show it on CBS, goes running back to KRLD, now KDFW, and says, I just saw the Zapruder film, let me tell you how it goes. Kennedy's going down, he clutches his throat, and then he's knocked forward and face down in the car. Yeah, anybody who sees it, no matter where they think the shots came from, Kennedy goes backwards and to the left. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, this is the location right here where Abraham Zapruder had his home 8mm camera on November 22nd, 1963. Him and his secretary came down here during their lunch hour to film the president as the motorcade was going to come off of Houston Street right here onto Elm Street. Now, Mr. Zapruder had vertigo really bad, so his secretary had to stand behind him as he shot the motorcade going by.
must have been an unbelievable thing to see. I think I would have been in absolute state of shock just standing there and seeing that happen.
TV and on the news, and to actually be here is kind of a spooky, eerie feeling.
Are you from the Dallas area?
Yeah, I live in Grapevine, and it's coming out here. We drive by quite a bit, but we've never actually gotten out and looked. And you know, today's the 29th anniversary, and just all these people, all for one morbid reason. It's a strange feeling.
What Kennedy stood for as President of the United States and all of the contributions that he made during his presidency, and to remark on the sadness of his death, but it's important to remember how he lived.
Is this the first year in which you've come here on the anniversary?
We come here every year for about the last 6 or 7 years.
See, are you from Dallas?
No, we moved here from El Paso.
I see. Is this your first time to Dallas?
Yeah, this is my first time in Dallas, yeah. It's just, I don't know, I guess I feel the same way that a lot of people do, that the people that were responsible for this thing, whoever they were, got away with it, you know, and it really bothers me, and it bothers me that we don't know what really happened, and I don't think the American people have all the facts of what really happened that day, and I can't tell you how much that angers me. It really does, and I think it probably always will until the day I die, unless somehow we can solve this mystery. I just don't know if that's ever going to happen.
According to the maps that I got, they were dated in 1931.
Okay.
This was completed in 1932.
Okay.
Now, my maps don't show that. His maps don't, because he don't have any maps.
He said he crawled down there and he crawled right up there. Right now, they got it all blocked off.
Now, who told you this?
Mr. Penn. You know about him? He was in the morning news in the Parade magazine. He's been doing this for 29 years. Did you hear anything about that?
I know Penn Jones. I don't know Mr. Penn. No. Penn Jones theorized many years ago.
Midlothian Mirror?
Press?
Yeah. Yes.
He lives in Waxahachie?
Right.
Okay, well, he don't have a phone.
No.
But I'll give you his mailing address. He theorized that the shot came from the storm drain.
Yes, that's one of his
This is not the storm drain. The storm drain is located up here.
Ah, I saw it up there behind that wall.
Yeah, what do you think?
I'm thinking back over there.
Well, let's go up there.
Let's go over there.
What's your name? What's that guy's name? What's his name? This is,
So you're saying the pipes leading from this were bigger than they are now? Because right now, Hump Zone would have a real difficulty crawling through there.
Well,
you have an 18-inch drain. I mean,
I took 7 Rangers through it, and I took CNN through it.
Through
I've
those
got the
drain
tape.
pipes there.
That's right.
I mean, those are. I mean, like. I wouldn't want to.
Can you stand over here and look that way? I mean, where do you want to go?
That's still a pretty narrow pipe.
You had somebody signaling from you up the street as to when to get ready to fire. Let's fire from in here.
Oh,
but then they would have to run to the windshield.
Can I answer your question? Sure. They changed the motorcade route.
Yeah.
They changed it from that street to here, right?
Yeah.
That's 24 inches. If this was the case, it was a have-to situation.
I don't understand what you're saying. This is the last. This location would be the last attempt to assassinate.
This is smaller underground than the system on Main Street. That's 24 inches. We could all fit through there, all of us.
Yeah.
But just selected people can go through this and that one there because of
it's small people.
Correct. Sirhan, Hinckley, name them. Squeaky Fromm. Big guys like me don't kill presidents. Let's go look at these.
Let's take a look at that.
CNN went through it. It took 54 minutes. 54 minutes.
54 minutes to go.
Which way does it go? From here, it goes to the center of Main Street to the 24-inch system. It goes 202 feet into a 39-inch system, and it goes 1,100 feet to the center of Industrial, and it goes into a 13-foot horseshoe. You go south for 902 feet. You come out into the ditch that leads to the Trinity River.
Y'all walked off through
And then
there?
you're gone.
Underground.
You made sure it wasn't raining that day.
Well, it rained on the 22nd of February when we started the incident. And the first man through here hit some debris, which was 3 bricks and a hubcap and some debris from when Mr. Bob Kinnaman from Alba, Texas was remodeling this building up here. The bricks were pushed in here by the street sweeper and eventually worked their way down. This has got a fall to it. It falls 6 inches every 100 feet. Tell Mr. Penn that. Anyhow, this is not the best assassination site. The best one is the one up here. It's perfect. It's in other words, Price was on that roof over there. The deaf mute Hoffman was on the freeway, and Mr. Bowers was in the tower. It was virtually unseen if he was there. Now, if the shot came from the right front, it had to be one of 3 locations: the storm sewer, the storm drain, or the stockade fence. I don't think that the fatal headshot came from the rear. In my research books up there, I got a picture of Lee Harvey Oswald standing downstairs after the first shot. Would you help me up? Huh? Police shut me down. Pull this off.
He may be heading to the overpass. We can get through down here.
We're happy. You know what a book called?
He's a neat guy.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
This drainage gets right here.
Perfect. Yeah, this is excellent. Perfect setup.
One 12-inch from the parking lot, one 19-inch from the parking lot, one 19-inch going to the center of Main Street. This is a storm drain, and it ties in to the storm sewer system in the middle of Main Street. And it takes about 24 minutes to go through it. My Rangers went through it in 54 minutes, but they stopped for cigarettes, they stopped for coffee, they stopped for a peck on the cheek, they stopped to fix their walkie-talkies, and they stopped for their cameras. This is what covered the storm drain in '63. These were put in 1974. This was not paved, it was dirt and gravel. It was designed to take the collectible water off of this area and get rid of it. It's not maintained by the city of Dallas. That's why it's in the shape it is today. This material here is what is on. It was on it in '63. But it's just an ideal situation. I can't go through this system because the city of Dallas will not let me. As you can see, it's collapsed in 2 places. I'm sending Roto-Rooter through it Tuesday, 48.50 an hour. And they're putting the Hitachi cameras on little dollies and cables and cameras, and we're going to shoot pictures of what's in this system.
When is that, Jack?
As far as you can back in there, right?
Probably Thursday. We're going through the whole system with cameras. From here to the sidewalk is 58 feet. And then from the sidewalk to the center of Main Street is about 89 feet. And from there, we can tie into we can put a man in the system over here. And it takes about 6 minutes to get over there. But this is an ideal spot. It's virtually, it's impossible to see anybody. If you could reconstruct the assassination and put everybody in their prospective places, including the man who had the best visible access visible. J.C. Price was on the roof of that building over there. He was the building engineer. He was the first person that said the reports and the smoke lingered in this area. Did y'all read the books? I don't read the books. Now the deaf mute, Mr. Hoffman, he claims that he saw someone kneel down by this junction box. At that great distance, he could have made a mistake, and this could have been the spot here that the man was bending over. Lee Bowers was in the tower. Yeah. So they tell me he didn't see anything. There was 15 people, and if you took 15 of these people right here and put them over there and reconstruct the assassination site, you could not see a would-be assassin. But I'm saying in contention, I'm not saying this is where it came from. I am saying this is a possibility, and there is a difference in that.
But more importantly, what Bauer talked about was two men over at this picket fence area, right where these guys are standing here, and we're going to go out there in 1 second. What Bauer said, he said, he didn't say, I see him rip a rifle off, I didn't see him pull a trigger. What Bauer's exact words, he said, I don't know what it was. When the last shot was fired here in the Kennedy motorcade, my attention was immediately drawn to two individuals at this fence. Lee was a guy that doesn't live a long time. He dies about a year and 9 months later in a car right down by Cleburne, Texas. But we have an interview with a couple of his closest friends, and they said Lee Bauer told them he wishes he would have shut up and never said anything. He was very paranoid and nervous about the situation. And number two, which was more important, Lee Bauer told them, he said, you know, there were other things I saw back there that day after the assassination that I haven't told authorities. And he said, I'm not telling you guys either. He said, this thing scares me to death. I personally think Lee Bauer knew a little bit more even yet than what he was talking about.
There's the tower where Lee Bowers was looking out. Back here in the railroad yard. They had pulled the 3 hobos off the train here and then proceeded to lead them down through Dealey Plaza.
Behind these white lines, the president would be on the right side of the car here. Where Mary Moorman and Gene Hill were, Mary's the one that took the picture that shows that area, the Mary Moorman photo. They were standing right across the street on the curve here. If you've ever seen a man and a woman with 2 small children laying on top of them, just following the shooting, with their feet out over the curb, that was right here. That was Bill and Gail Newman. They were the closest to the president when the last shot was fired of those that were off of the street that day.
If they, that's another importance as to why places like the JFK Assassination Information Center, independent researchers, we've got to find these. We're finding stuff today that people thought was gone. Maybe stuff that's in Grandma's attic. We don't know. But that's where a lot of stuff has been discovered. Missing photographs. There are movie films taken here in Dealey Plaza on November 22nd that have never been seen, and they could still be out there.
Well, the fact that these Parkland photographs have been covered up, I think that in itself would be significant in supporting a conspiracy theory.
Well, a conspiracy to cover up, whereas Parkland Hospital did not initiate any photograph. Again, this was done by the Dallas Police, or Dallas Sheriff's Office is the official version as to what happened.
Where was the Matt photograph found? The police?
It's found recently when the Dallas Police uncovered. There were 2. It's a Matt photograph showing the backyard with a white mat out area where Oswald.
I wonder if the sheriff's office has such an archives and if anybody's ever tried to go through them.
Apparently, all the archives from the Dallas Sheriff's Office and now Parkland Hospital have all been pulled into the Dallas Municipal Archives and are available for viewing. But here again, no one knew these photographs. I was with the man who first saw these for the first time, and even they were going, "Oh wow, we didn't know those were there." So there's even stuff that's now accessible. It's just a matter of going out there and looking at it.
Where's this located? Where is this?
Dallas City Hall.
Oh, it is in City Hall.
Dallas City Hall.
Are there any photographs that are still being withheld from the public, as far as you know?
We don't know. We know that some photographs in Dallas were confiscated. Movie film was confiscated. A lady named Beverly Oliver, who took an Super 8mm movie from the opposite side of Elm Street, showing the grassy knoll. She had a zoom lens, so she had a perfect vantage point. In fact, her film would not have been obscured like Zapruders by the road sign that was here. Yet, 2 men posing as FBI agents said, we need your film, we'll return it to you. It's never been seen publicly. And she never saw the film again.
Confiscated by the Dallas Police Department?
Well, she identified a man named Regis Kennedy, who was out of the Washington Bureau. So,
FBI or Secret Service?
FBI.
Confiscated here?
Confiscated at her home.
Okay.
In fact, they removed it from her camera.
How did they know she had it?
Like I said, well, how did they know Gene Hill and Mary Moorman had photographs? They wanted her pictures when they took Gene Hill up here behind the grassy knoll. And one of the photographs they did take away, they did not see the Moorman photograph, the one that became published. Mary did not realize she had taken because she snapped the camera in reflex to the gunshot. This photograph here, This is Jean and Mary here. In fact, Jean was here earlier. Yeah, there she is.
She's over here behind you now.
This photograph was just taken by accident. It's after, Kennedy's already been struck in the head. In fact, it shows a man, in fact, we've been able to conclude as a man behind the fence. If you look at the breakup in the continuity of the fence line, you see a hump over it. There's nothing there to make this. Every other photograph, that's gone. This photograph they didn't know about, but they took the other 4 photographs that she took that day. She only took 2 during the procession. The first one shows the motorcycles coming down Elm Street, and it shows the whole face of the school book depository, including the 6th floor. They took the photograph, they cut out the area of the 6th floor, removed it without any explanation. So
Is that photograph published?
Yes.
Where was Zapruder?
Zapruder is standing right here on top of the embankment.
That's Jean Hill right there.
That's Jean Hill in the red coat.
The hobos, where were they in back there?
Yeah, the hobos were arrested on a boxcar. I don't have those photographs. I've got about 3 more full like this. I can't bring. I just bring the key ones here. But Jean, Mary, Charles Brim. This is Beverly Oliver right here. She research called her the babushka lady because she's wearing a headscarf, or what they call the babushka. She took an 8mm movie film. You can see her filming the assassination. She would have a complete advantage showing everything up on the grassy knoll. But again, this film could still exist. We don't know. That's what we need to find it. Right. Emmett Houston and these other 3 gentlemen were groundskeepers of Dealey Plaza here. They all 3 ducked and said the shots came from over their right shoulder. They ran up the hill with everybody else. Why did they do this if there was not shooting from up there? Everything suggests that another shot came from the front. So by definition, we're talking conspiracy in Dallas.
One of the witnesses took this Polaroid picture at the instant of the shooting. It shows the president slumped down in the car.
Just as Mary started to take the picture and the president came right even with us, 2 shots. We looked at him and he was looking at a dog in the middle of the seat. 2 shots rang out and he grabbed his chest and a look of pain on his face and fell across toward Jackie, and she fell over on him and said, "My God, he's shot." And there was an interval, and then 3 or 4 more shots rang out. By that time, the motorcade had sped away.
Here's Jean Hill walking over to her spot where she was 29 years ago today. She's in a red raincoat, probably not the exact one, but and very similar to what she wore.
This is Tom Whalen in Fort Worth. WBAP newsman James Darnell in Dallas on the scene of the presidential shooting, the shooting in which President Kennedy and Governor Connally were shot, has an eyewitness interview with a Mrs. Jean Hill. Here is the interview.
What is your name, ma'am?
Jean Hill.
From Dallas?
That's right.
And did you see the shooting, miss?
Yes, sir.
Can you describe what happened?
Yes, sir.
Will you do that now?
They were driving along, and we were the only people in this area on our side, and the shots came from directly across the street from us. And just as the president's car became directly even with us, we took one look at him, and he was sitting there. He and Jackie were looking at a dog that was in the middle of the seat, and about that time 2 shots rang out just as he looked up. Just as the president looked up, and these 2 shots rang out, and he grabbed his chest, and it looked like he was in pain, and he fell over in the seat, and Jackie fell over on him and said, "My God, he's been shot." And after that, more shots rang out, and the car sped away.
What kind of car was that?
What kind of a car was it? The president's car.
I mean, where did the shots come from?
The shots came from the hill.
From the hill?
Yes. As it was just east of the underpass.
Uh-huh. And,
we were on the south side.
Could you see, did you look up there where the shots came from, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Could you see anyone?
I thought I saw this man running, but I looked at the president, and for a while, and I looked up there, and I thought I saw a man running. And so, right after that, I guess I didn't have any better sense. I started running up there, too.
Uh-huh. And what is your name?
Jean Hill.
G-E-A-N?
J-E-A-N.
And J-E-A-N. And what's your address, Miss Hill?
9402 Bluff Creek.
9402 Bluff.
That was an interview I had with Mrs. Jean Hill of Dallas a few minutes ago.
Harvey Oswald's house. Boarding house there.
With that, Tippett gets out of the car, takes about 3 or 4 steps up the front bumper, and all hell breaks loose. He's shot 3 times initially. Twice in the chest, once in the facial area, and then as Gary Oldman, who did a nice job playing Lee in the movie. He comes around the front of the car, he leans down, and he shoots a 4th and final coup d'etat shot into Tippett's temple area, winds out around here, just back by the corner of this.
Oswald, did you shoot the president? I didn't shoot anybody, sir. I haven't been told what I'm here for. You have a lawyer? No, sir, I don't. I just didn't look back. You want to go through?
Police Sergeant Gerald Hill describes Oswald's capture.
Appreciate it. C.C. Walter, Bob Carroll, Paul Bentley, K.E. Lyons, myself, and other officers went into the building and we began a systematic check of all the suspects or all the people who were in the theater. As Officer McDonald approached a suspect sitting on the 3rd row from the back of the theater, the suspect jumped up, yelled, "This is it," and took a swing at the officer. Officer McDonald started to grapple with the man as he reached for a gun which was concealed under his shirt, and the gun was fired 1 time by the suspect, but luckily it misfired. The pin hit the shell, but it did not fire. McDonald yelled for help. The other officers in the theater and I managed to subdue the man, disarm him, and handcuff him. At that time, we brought him out of the building, put him in a squad car, and brought him straight to homicide and robbery, and turned him over to Captain Chris. Who were those officers?
The gate right across here.
Right.
There was a walk-through gate, the fence tacked in the back, and Lee here. Lee supposedly here.
Body's been changed. It's too easy to make that body. I could put anybody on that face.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, the biggest 2 giveaway are shadows and Lee's chin. Look at the chin out of there, and then go look at the other
marks around the chin, they say. I heard that.
They're using the flash.
Yeah, I just turned on the flash.
The other thing that grabs me about this, and talking to guys that interrogated Lee, they said he was sharp. They said he was like Muhammad Ali. When they questioned him, they said they couldn't get him in a corner that he couldn't slide out of. I don't think Lee was stupid enough to take a picture like that, leave it with his wife where he knows good and well it's going to be found. It makes no sense.
Especially that one about they found 2 IDs. Says, well, which one are you, Alec Condell, Lee Oswald? He says, you're the cop, you figured it out.
Yeah, you're the cop, you figured it out.
You know, I think
They're in the BT neighborhoods.
I think that the center.
Anybody can fake a photo. I could do a better job.
It's getting cold out here.
That's savage.
All right. There's a photo. So you take another picture. Yeah.
You're right there where he is.
When you come here, also, this place is really went down the tubes. A little later, I'll have it on film, pointed out what it looked like back. When Jack lived here, it was a nice location.
Oh, this is where Jack Ruby lived from October 62 to November 63. But it's a dump now. Okay, today is November 24th. 1992, it was 29 years ago today that Lee Harvey Oswald was shot to death in Dallas, Texas. Ruby was led in to that rampway, and that's where the shotting
The ramp area. Where they were transferring him to is right where these guys are getting dumped. There were Dallas deputy sheriffs waiting here that day for Oswald's arrival. Of course, Ruby steps in and Lee doesn't get to make the trip. This is where they were bringing him the day he was shot. The other thing, when you see this air conditioner, if you go 3 windows straight up and 1 window back to the right in the center of the building, That was a man's home by the name of Jack Ruby for a little over 3 years. The man that shoots Oswald doesn't go to a federal prison or even a state prison. He stays holed up in that cell overlooking the plaza here from late November 63 till January 67. Whenever you hear of Allen Dulles, Jerry Ford, and so forth coming back to question Jack Ruby, it was always done right here. His trial was held on this second floor where you see the tall windows.
You're watching Channel 5, the Texas News Channel. Now, Ramona Logan, Jim Douglas, meteorologist Scott Chesner, and Scott Murray with Sports Extra. Live, this is Texas News 5, the Weekend Report.
If you're in your mid-30s or older, you probably have a very clear memory of this day 29 years ago, November 22nd, 1963. Thousands of people still observe the anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination by visiting the site of the murder. Texas News 5's John Garcia says they support what has become a big industry in the area.
The honor guard marches into place inside the Kennedy Memorial, waiting for the command.
Hey!
It's a ritual observed on every anniversary of the assassination, and tourists from around the world are on hand to witness it, with vendors never far away. This man is selling an assassination newsletter.
$3. No, that's all right. That's worth it, man.
It's all part of what has become a big business for Dallas.
Not only this time of year, but it's every month. You know, Dallas, like we were talking before, is the largest tourist attraction now is the Kennedy assassination.
Howard's Information Center sells a large variety of books, videos, and souvenirs. This couple came from Minnesota.
I bought it's a poster of Kennedy and a coffee mug.
I've been very interested in all the conspiracy theories and the movies, and you know, it was just a trip I felt I had to make.
About 4,000 people come through this exhibit every year. It's always busiest on the anniversary of the assassination. And on this day, they do not charge admission. The county's 6th floor exhibit also draws large crowds on this day. It has already seen about 400,000 visitors this year and has brought in millions of dollars. Money generated from what some call the greatest murder mystery of the century. John Garcia, Texas News 5.
Many assassination buffs expect even more assassination-related business in the coming years since Congress has released many of the records of the official investigation.